This video was brought to you by our sister channel, TLDR Business. As we mentioned in our previous video, the midterms have exacerbated a divide within the Republican Party between former President Donald Trump and Florida's Governor Ron Desantis. Now, Desantis performed remarkably well during the midterms in Florida, outperforming Trump's 2020 vote across the entire state, while Trump's questionable candidate selection looks like it could have cost the Republicans the Senate. Which leaves the GOP with an interesting dilemma, who are increasingly wary of Trump's unpopularity, but don't want to see a primary battle between Trump and DeSantis, which would be ugly and even risk splitting the party in two. However, despite what they want, it looks like the gloves are already coming off. And on Thursday, Trump released a furious statement on Truth Social, alleging that he'd helped DeSantis win his first term, and even implied that he rigged the 2018 gubernatorial election in DeSantis' favor. So in this video, we're going to be taking a look at the catfight emerging between DeSantis and Trump, how it might pan out, and what this all means for the Republicans' electability in the next couple of years. So let's start with a quick recap of what happened. And the TLDR is that the midterms were bad news for Trump. His cherry-picked Senate candidates performed remarkably poorly. And as such, it looks like the Democrats might be able to hold on to the Senate despite America's struggling economy and Joe Biden's remarkable unpopularity. Prospective Republican senators like Herschel Walker and Dr. Oz both underperformed in Georgia and Pennsylvania respectively, while Trump's gubernatorial picks, including Doug Mastriano, Lee Zeldin, and Kari Lake, performed similarly poorly. While on the other hand, DeSantis and other less Trumpy Republicans like Brian Kemp performed remarkably well. In fact, DeSantis was already the bookies' favorite to replace Trump as the Republicans' candidate in 2024, and his impressive showing in the midterms only puts Trump under even more pressure. And responding to this pressure, just the day before the midterms, Trump announced that he would be making a, quote, big announcement at Mar-a-Lago on November 15th, presumably to announce his candidacy for 2024. The very same day, Trump took aim at DeSantis, warning him not to run and implying that he had some sort of dirt on him. Now, according to the Wall Street Journal on Tuesday, Trump said that if DeSantis did run, I will tell you things about him that won't be very flattering. I know more about him than anybody other than perhaps his wife, who is really running his campaign. And that was before the results even came out. Now, in the aftermath of the results, the tone changed slightly, and there were reports that Trump staffers told him to reconsider or at least delay his announcement. But Trump decided against it and said that he would be continuing with his announcement as planned, which is due for 9 p.m. However, Trump was clearly feeling the pressure, because on Thursday, Trump took to Truth Social to suggest that the poor results by Trumpist candidates in Pennsylvania, Arizona, and Nevada were actually down to electoral fraud. Now, throughout all of this, DeSantis has stayed reasonably quiet about Trump, but the same can't be said for right-leaning media outlets, who were trumpeting DeSantis' success. For instance, on Wednesday, the New York Post, an American tabloid owned by Rupert Murdoch's News Corp, that previously was very supportive of Trump, ran a headline describing DeSantis as the future of the Republican Party. That same day, news anchors on Fox News, which is owned by another wing of Murdoch's media empire, Fox Corporation, were unusually critical of Trump.
I wrote an open letter to Donald Trump this morning on my Substack that, sorry, Kayleigh, it says, please, Mr. President, don't run again.
You don't have to apologize to me. To be clear, I haven't declared I'm voting for any one person.
If people are making the choice right now between Ron Desantis and the former president, they're going with the Florida governor who won by about 20 points. And so that was truly a mandate from his state and the people that he governs. And they said, we like what he's been doing. We trust him. And it looks much more like he is the future of the party.
Then on Thursday, after another day of bad news for the Republicans, the New York Post ran a front page directly blaming Trump for the Republicans' poor showing in the midterms, with a column from Piers Morgan suggesting that Trump should move on from politics. Not only that, but the Post's front page also noted that Trump failed to build his much-anticipated wall, which is surely another smack in the face. Unsurprisingly, this didn't go down all too well with Trump, and on Thursday, he hit back on Truth Social, claiming that Fox News was only really successful because of him and is now really gone. Trump also attacked the New York Post, claiming that the only reason he couldn't build the wall was thanks to opposition from Republican Senator and News Corp board member Paul Ryan and, quote, broken old crow Mitch McConnell. This was promptly followed by a semi-coherent, multi-truth rant attacking News Corp, the New York Post, and Ron DeSantis, who Trump has nicknamed Ron DeSanctimonious. During this rant, Trump alleged that DeSantis came to him for support during the 2018 gubernatorial election in Florida, and even went on to say that DeSantis only won thanks to Trump's endorsement. Trump even seemingly implied that he fixed the election in DeSantis' favor, saying that he sent the FBI and the state attorney to stop votes being counted when it looked like DeSantis and other Republican candidate Rick Scott were going to lose. For context, in 2018, Republican Rick Scott defeated Democrat Bill Nelson in Florida's Senate election by just 10,000 votes. And DeSantis beat Democrat Andrew Gillum in the gubernatorial election by just 32,000 votes. So Trump seems to be suggesting that he stopped the count in order to preserve their narrow majorities, which would obviously be felony-level electoral fraud if true. Anyway, felonies by federal officers and sitting presidents aside, the rant ended with Trump claiming that in terms of loyalty and class, DeSantis' refusal to rule out a 2024 run is not the right answer, as well as him making a final swipe at Fox News, Jeb Bush, and the Wall Street Journal. Clearly then, despite not all that much ideological difference, there's a civil war brewing between the Trump and DeSantis wings of the Republican Party. So, who's going to win? Well, the TLDR answer right now is that nobody really knows how this fight is going to pan out. It would be a mistake to rule Trump out at this point. And even establishment Republicans who favor DeSantis are worried of spurning the former president, if only out of fear that he could run as an independent during 2024 and take on the Republicans as a whole. However, it's definitely true that the Republicans don't like Trump as much as they used to. And the most recent polling from NBC found that record numbers of Republicans now say that they support the party over Trump, with 62% saying they support the Republican Party first, and 30% saying they support Trump first. And while Trump does still hold a solid lead over DeSantis among Republicans nationally, that gap is narrowing. And recent polling suggests that DeSantis is actually more popular among Republicans in Florida. That might sound obvious, given that it's DeSantis' home state, but it's also where Trump lives. And he did perform remarkably well there in 2020, winning by the largest margin for any president since 2004. So DeSantis' recent poll jump, combined with the fact that he now apparently commands the support of the right-wing media in the US, is why the bookies now have him as the favorite for the 2024 Republican nomination. Yep, you heard that right. DeSantis is now odds-on to beat Trump to the nomination. So maybe we should start paying more attention to DeSantis than Trump. And if you want to know what DeSantis actually stands for, then we made a whole video about that back in July. It's linked in the description, and you can go and watch it. While you're there, you should also check out our sister channel, TLDR Business, where we just posted a video about all of the Elon Musk drama over on Twitter, and how he may well have killed his $44 billion investment in a little over 2 weeks. The channel and the video are both linked in the description. Thanks for your support.